That is indeed what she said. Yes, hurry up, Doc. I've got work to do. She was 94. She was in a nursing home. She was blind, and she was in a wheelchair. And she said, hurry up, Doc. I've got work to do. Well, obviously, there's a story there, and if you'll give me a few minutes today on this Friday flowing into the weekend, we'll tell you that story and what that might mean for you. And also, I have an opening, a partner player position, and what I want, listen carefully now, see if this describes you. I want somebody who is full spirit force. I want somebody who is sparking on fire. And I want someone who's fully alive. Those are the qualifications. If that describes you, you're qualified for the work. Again, full spirit force, sparking on fire, and fully alive. Again, we hope that describes you. My name is Stan Houston. This is The Master Entrepreneur, and the program begins right now. Well, I have to admit, and it was funny how it hit me. I believe I've got lots of energy and health and hopefully a number of years or at least a number of months still ahead of me. But it became obvious to me. Stan, you're not middle age. You're certainly not young. You're old. That's right. And I am. I'm old. Well, you know what? So is Bernie Sanders and so is Donald Trump. So, again, just let that sit on your head for a while. All three of us are old. Now, what I'm driving at is something that I hope will be helpful to you because you are an entrepreneur or you have the entrepreneurial spirit, or more importantly, you just want to follow the master entrepreneur and live fully alive. And you want to know him. Know him. That's right. You want to know him more clearly. You want to kind of see him more clearly. You want to follow him more nearly. And you want to love him more dearly. And you know who him is. Here we go. One of my friends, Dr. Jim Struve, and we've been friends for a long, long time, ups and downs together. He was my doctor for many years when I was back in Minnesota, but he told me this story. It's a story that goes back literally to the late 30s and early 40s when a woman named Hannah was a woman who lost her husband. He just kind of walked away, and so there she was with children and trying to figure out what she should do in life. What do? It was really hard. And she felt led that she should give her life to helping the people who were just like her, people who had bad situations in their life, people who needed help. And so Hannah Chalmers became the leader of an organization which was devoted to helping those people who needed help and needed to experience the love of God. And that's what she did in the work that she did. And through all kinds of ways of working, publishing, thinking, teaching, most of all, serving, that's what she did. Well, Hannah lived a good long life. And thanks to a very wise pastor who understood that even in those times of the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, that a woman's place was not just someplace else, but was right in the middle of God's good work and God's good ministry. But the time had changed, and now Hannah was in a nursing home. She was in her middle 90s, 94, 95. She was now blind, and she was in a wheelchair. And good Dr. Jim, as the man he was, longtime doctor, made it his habit to come to the nursing home and to help the people there and to share with them. And he was looking Hannah over and trying to make sure she was okay, in which she kind of looked at him as best as she could and said, "Hurry up, Dr. Jim. Hurry up, Dr. Jim." And my friend says, he kind of smiled, he said, "Hurry up, Hannah. What's the hurry?" Well, obviously, what could be the hurry? I mean, doesn't she want to be with Dr. Jim? Doesn't she want to enjoy the fellowship and company of someone who cares for her? What is there to do? And she said to him words which have changed me profoundly. She says, "Dr. Jim, I have my personal work to do." May I say that again? The woman was in her 90s, in a wheelchair, blind, obviously not in full capacity, but she said, "I have my work to do, my personal work to do, and I need to get about it." Now, what do you think her personal work was? I'm going to let that sit on your head for a while, but I want to remind you that you are all called to do what Hannah knew she needed to be about. And so, hurry up, Dr. Jim. She had personal work to do. I live in a community of people who would probably call themselves retired. That's the name we give it. And some of them might say they're a little bit refired, and some of them will just simply admit they've quit. But could it be that as we get older, and as we have the other work that we have to do, and we accomplish it and achieve it, usually by helping somebody else, some other organization, or some business that we have to attend to, but she had personal work to do. And even though she was no longer running the business and mission organization, she was no longer in the governance and the leadership of that organization, even though obviously she could not get about, get around, drive a car, and do all of the things that busy working people do, she had her personal work to do. Here's what getting old will help you do. For the first time in your life, you might find out what is the personal work that you might even be called to do. It might be very different work than what you've done before. But what is the personal work? Now, even if you're 25, 35, 45, 55, and you're working for a business or an organization, good for you. But alongside of that, and complementary to that, and perhaps right inside of that itself, since God has made you and created you in His image, He has created you to be like Him. He's created you to be a creative, risk-taking, flourishing entrepreneur. He has created you to be a serving, creating, risk-taking, fixing, flourishing entrepreneur. And that commission never expires until, quote, you do. And then you graduate and are transferred perhaps to even higher, more eternal, universal work. I just want today for you to think about that in this 10 minutes. What I'm going to try and do this weekend, if God allows me to get all of my other work to do done, is spend today just asking you to think about your personal work. Then, because I'm old and because I think about this, what could God's next project in life be for me? And ultimately on Sunday, I want to encourage you. Are you a source of hope for others? May I repeat that? Are you a source of hope for others? Oh, this has been a heavy thought. Heavy thoughts for 10 minutes. And hopefully on this Friday evening and throughout the weekend, you'll take time to think about them. Your personal work, your next project in life, and are you a source of hope? I'm Stan Houston. This is The Master Entrepreneur. Well, I have some work that you can do. Perhaps you could be the one who would join us because, hey, that describes you. Full spirit force. Yeah. Sparking on fire and fully alive. And you'd like to do radio work. You'd like to be on the radio. You'd like to help people all over the world do radio work. Well, reach out to me at radioedge77@gmail.com. radioedge77@gmail.com. And I'd love to hear some of your thoughts about those three things. And I'd like you to help me. We are the Christian Entrepreneur Network. We are a 501c3, and this comes to you free. It's free to you, but it's not free to me and all of the people who get behind it. So if you could reach out and perhaps do a one-time sponsorship contribution, or perhaps say, Stan, I'd like to sponsor you for a long time. Maybe that's the work I have to do. Find a way to help sponsor the Christian Entrepreneur Network. Well, I would be grateful if you would do that. Again, reach out to me at radioedge77@gmail.com. And if you would like to make a sponsorship contribution, just simply go to tcenglobal.org/contribute now. tcenglobal.org/contribute now. We'll be back for what's God's next project for you? We'll try and think about that on Saturday and talk about hope on Sunday. Best and blessings, and bye for now.